But there is another movie coming forward that's a biopic. Well, there's actually 4 movies coming forward that will all tie together in a multiversal Beatles world. And that leads me to our featured story of the night. So Sam Mendes has an idea that he's pushed forward for 4 biopics. Well, 4 stories about the Beatles' career, all meshing together from every perspective of each Beatle. So, of course, we're going to get a John movie, we're going to get a Ringo movie, we're going to get a Paul movie, we're going to get a George movie. And at the same time, they're all going to come out the same year, apparently, too. That's what they're kind of saying. They release 4 movies, all interconnected, and it's going to show one big story of all the Beatles coming together from all their different perspectives. And this is a freaking monumental, like, kind of a big undertaking, I would say, for anybody to take on. I mean, 4 separate movies, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it sounds like a great idea if you make it happen. And you know what? They actually have all the rights now, too. The families have come on board. Paul McCartney, Ringo have signed off. And of course, the families of the late, great George and John have come on, too, to allow this to happen. The very first time this has happened, that's a big, big move to tell a biopic about the Beatles in this way. And they're calling it innovative and they're calling it groundbreaking. And they say they have a strategy that's going to change the business pretty much, how they're going to release these movies and put these movies together. And they have, again, full support for the script. They're very excited. And they're going to come out in 2027. So it's not that far away. That sounds insane. You're right, David Banner. It sounds nuts, but it's happening. I heard this today and I was like, oh, this is definitely a feature story today. Because I love the Beatles and I love an idea like this because it's definitely different for film. And we always ask for different. You're telling a story now. What time of their lives will it be? We have no idea what it's going to be about, how it'll connect. Is it from the very beginning to the very end of the Beatles? We don't know. It's very early on. This was just announced today, but I'm excited about this. I think it is very ambitious. I will say that one more time, very ambitious to do 4 movies and have them all connect in a way, because as you work on set, you know, it's very hard. It's very hard to actually have continuity between everything just on set for a day, but to do continuity between 4 different movies is insane. Like, and then you're shooting by the same time. So you probably have to have people running back and forth, giving notes back and forth to make sure that it works and everything's connected. It's a logistic nightmare. Whoever's the ADs on this project and the production manager and the line producer for all these projects, they're going to have a headache, but hopefully they create magic, and hopefully Sam Mendes can make this become something that's fantastic that will just change how we look at biopics and tell the best story ever about the Beatles. Because again, we're losing, we've lost 2, we only have 2 left, and that last song that just came out is just, it's so fitting for like what they went through in their last song. I just want them to do a good story to tell, like, of the Beatles, and this sounds like a great idea. It does. GR, being a big fan, probably, right? Growing up, the Beatles too. Are you excited?
I remember when they were on Ed Sullivan watching it that
night. Loving the Beatles, right?
Oh, hell yes.
Is this something
the albums in the car? I've listened to them. Know the songs by heart.
Yeah, I do too. It's like they've touched so many generations, GR, and they are still doing the same thing today. That like now and then it was like it blew up. The charts went to #1. Is this a good idea for their legacy? Does this make sense when they sign on for this? And can this be done where it actually all connects without it being a clusterfuck of too much?
I think Sam could do it. I think it's going to be hard. I mean, everybody knows who they are. They're all great in their own way, but
oh yeah,
I want it to be good, because if they don't do an incredible job, people will rip it to shreds.
Yeah,
but I
really
think
would.
Sam is capable of putting together a biopic on each of them of quality, and
that's what's important, GR. And what David Banner said too, it's like, just like the John Lennon one alone would be a sad ending. So it makes me wonder if it would be something like it would just connect until like that'd be actually very fascinating. The John Lennon one ended with his death, because it is his perspective. And then the George Harrison one ends with his death. And then the other ones end with them going a little bit longer into the future. That would be kind of cool and showing where they're at today. But I don't know, maybe they would have it be at a certain ending, a crosshairs. Maybe the band breaks up.
Yeah, I think it ends when the Beatles ends.
That would make,
I think so too. But it's going to be a biopic about the Beatles. It needs to end when they split.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you could do like a post thing about like
Post-credit
their
scene.
lives afterwards, or like a little have the flashcards with like little scripts and stuff at the end of things that just kind of wrap it up real fast. A little epilogue.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool.
You know
Are you
what
excited about this, Rachel?
That blows
the
the feeling of it.
Yeah.
I
Rachel,
don't think
you
they're
excited
going
about
to
this?
make everybody happy.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that if you show them true to all their faults, people are going to be really mad. I think if you sugarcoat it too much, people are going to be really mad. So I think either way, it's going to be a difficult thing to make everybody happy, because these are some of the largest and most well-known figures in music history, and people have very strong opinions on them. People idolize them. People have practically sanctified John Lennon. So you can't tell his story true to his faults and true to his humanness and have the people who have made him basically a biblical figure in their lives be happy with that. It's weird for me to say that I'm excited about a Beatles project because I'm not a huge Beatles fan. Like, I respect what they did for music. I like that they're just chaos gremlins, basically.
Chaos gremlins.
Absolutely. They went from like a little like poppy boy band to making like acid music. It's insane. And I love it. I love that aspect about them and their career, that they just kind of said fuck it and did what they wanted to do. And I respect that, but I've not been the biggest Beatles fan throughout my life. I think at times they can be a bit overhyped. They're good, but I don't know if they're the best thing ever. I don't know what is the best thing ever.
It's controversial.
I know, hot take.
Hot take. It's a hot take.
I think if you like the Beatles and you shit on the Beach Boys, you're wrong. You have to like the Beach Boys if you like the Beatles too.
Great too.
Oh, there's some guy named Elvis that was kind of big too.
Yeah, somebody was pretty.
The Beach Boys and Elvis and the Beatles are really easy to compare because they made kind of similar music in like the pop, like the boy bandy type aspect at first. So I like the Beach Boys a lot.
Beach Boys are great. They are.
Those are great.
And the Beatles are great too. And I say the Monkees too. I know people give the Monkees a hard time, but I like the Monkees too.
Deserve respect too.
Hey, the Monkees.
Yeah. It's good.
Thank God it's not Friday.
Yeah, right. As you drink.
The of this film is going to be really interesting. I think I'm excited about seeing how they kind of play it off. It'll be really interesting to see the same actors playing the same characters in 4 different films, but from completely different perspectives.
That's the thing too. You have to shoot you have to do like a movie this year, this year, then you have to edit them along the way. Yeah. Or you maybe you shoot the scenes just different perspectives every time. Maybe you just shoot like one extended shoot. You just do like a 8-month, 9-month shoot, and then you just kind of jump around and do different things.
From that person's perspective, people have different perspectives on the same event.
Yeah.
Some people see this, well, my actions weren't fucked up. And then the other person's like, oh, well, you're a fucking villain. So it's going to be interesting to see how those dynamics play out. And I disagree. There is a need for a Ringo movie. You leave Ringo alone. Ringo is my favorite Beatle, and I will fight for it.
Oh, Ringo.
He's just a goofy guy who makes pictures on Microsoft Paint now. Leave him alone.
Temperatures are hot tonight. I love it.
Thanks, Babs.
Yeah,
thanks, man.
I've rambled on, and like I said about the Bee Gees, I just want biopics to be true to the fact that humans are complicated creatures.
Yeah. I agree. And biopics should touch on all that, the good, the bad, the ugly, like we said, everything. And I think it could be kind of cool to see like even like a sequence where they're together, like working on a song. One person might remember that being like fighting and screaming at each other. The other person's like, it was all calm and it was normal. And I see nothing wrong with that. I think it could be very fascinating to see how they do it. Jake, are you excited about this Beatles project moving forward? Is it going to be great for you? Or you want to see this day one? And you think it's going to really change the way they look at cinema and biopics moving forward?
I don't know. It could go either way. They better do a good job because, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the anthology that's out It's I don't remember how many total hours it is about the whole story. So it's out there. Everybody knows. And there's so many details. So just the nuances of their relationship as they progressed, and Paul was always kind of like the we're doing this. I don't really care what you think. Kind of driver behind the whole thing. And John was, it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see it, but they're going to have to do it justice, or like Rachel said, people are going to be mad.
Oh yeah.
How's the casting going to be for this, Jake? Is it going to be nuts?
Casting, that's going to have to be on point too. I don't know.
No, you're right.
It's going to have to be on point, man, because they have to catch all of the
nuances.
Yeah, like Ringo will be easy to cast. He's just
more Ringo.
He's just the guy, right? He'll be super easy to cast.
He's
John,
a goofy looking motherfucker, though.
John won't be easy to cast. I think
so is John, for that matter.
I think George George might be the hardest one to cast, because he's the deepest one. He only wrote 2 songs out of their whole catalog. So
one of the best songs, "Here Comes the Sun."
Right.
Awesome. And so good.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
I think it'll be interesting if they get the surviving Beatles' opinions throughout the process.
I hope they do. I hope they really get them in there and have them help. And they signed off on whatever the script is they have right now, or I guess scripts.
So it's got to be.
It's got to be very interesting for them, and it's got to be.
It's like hard to tell though, because it could be completely biased towards them. Being the surviving members, they can sign off and be like, "Hey, yeah, you aren't talking shit about me."
Right.
Right. Nah, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Like, I'm gonna just speak this.
No, they're not
Brian
going to say anything bad about me.
Brian Epstein's dead, right? Did Brian Epstein die?
Maybe
he was their manager.
Yeah, I think he passed a couple of years ago, didn't he?
Did he? Because he'd be a wealth of information too if he was still around. I don't know.
So Sam Mendes Queen is doing the whole thing. So I'm guessing it is going to be one of those things where it's just like, because they haven't said really much about it. But as a production standpoint, as we're talking about it, I think it has to be one of those things where they just have a massive, extensive shoot, like maybe even a year shoot, where they're just going back and forth. They take a couple, maybe it takes like a week per scene, because they have to do every perspective. They'll be probably living in scenes multiple days. I mean, it's a lot to go through. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a logistic nightmare to me.
The more I think about it, the more I'm less excited about this, because I think it is going to be super sugar coated. Because the surviving Beatles are not going to sign off on anything that makes them look bad. Yoko is not going to sign off on anything that makes John look bad. I'm sure George Harrison has somebody in his corner.
Yeah, the estates apparently are also involved.
Guys, just for the record, Brian Epstein died in 1967.
Yeah, he's been dead for a long time then. Yeah, he's gone. He's been gone for a while.
But I believe Yoko has the rights for anything related to John Lennon, and she has been very protective of his legacy. Which, say what you will about her, either way, people have their opinions on Yoko. But one thing she has done on her. One thing she has done is work very hard to preserve his legacy respectfully.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, she let that music come out too, Rachel. But she had those tracks for the last Beatles songs, and she let that come out too, and they were able to work on it, and she signed off on it. So she has let his legacy still play forward after his death. She could have just hung on to that stuff and didn't do anything with it.
Oh, absolutely. She lets it play forward, but she is very she wants to make sure the narrative is very positive.
Yeah, I agree.
Damn, skip it.
So
thanks, Peps.
I think it's going to be a really happy-go-lucky, sugar-coated biopic.
Yeah, I hope not. I really hope it's not, especially with 4 movies. Because I want one to be like, it'd be kind of cool if they're all kind of different genres. Like their perspectives, like one is like, it's very much all love. And then one's like, it's all fighting. And one, it's like a mix of it. And then one is like, it's all like we were never meant to work together. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how they do it. They could have a lot of fun with this.
Ringo's just vibing.
Yeah, Ringo's vibing the whole time. Like, no problem.
He's
He really was. Yeah.
Yeah, his movie can be really fun. It can be the funnest of all of them, you know. And then all of a sudden, like John's is like super dark and like, you know what I mean? And it's like so much drama. It could be, and then maybe George is like he's like segregated for a long time. He's doing his own thing. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of ideas you can go with this, depending on how you actually look at their perspectives and their career and their life, and you get the family's input, what they were going through, and you really capture what they were going through at that time. And maybe it could be a fantastic delve into a new way of doing a biopic. But Banner's saying about the Michael Jackson one's coming out too, and that's a big thing as well.
Oh,
another big biopic.
Mentioning that Michael owned the Beatles catalog for quite a while, which is
and you know what? It was Paul was pissed because he wouldn't sell it back to him.
Yeah, he didn't get back to him.
Like, they're friends. And he's like, sell me it back. He's like, I don't want to. You know, it's like, come on, man.
Paul explained to him that owning your music is the best investment you could possibly make, and then he went and bought Paul's music.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? He was pissed, which I understand. I would be pissed too.
I'd be pissed too. That was a jerk move.
Aren't we friends? Can't we be friends or give me my bucket of music back? I mean, but you know what do you do? It's like he's like, it's so good. I enjoy it. I make lots of money. You know?
Okay, stop that voice.
Come on, GR, you got one in you, don't you? Give me your best Michael Jackson.
No, thank you.
Michael, why'd you buy my music, Michael?
You're too old for me.
There it is.
I think everybody did a good job, right, Macho Man?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, man. But yeah, this is happening. The Beatles biopics are coming forward. So if you're a fan of the Beatles, get ready for 4 movies in 2027, showcasing all their different perspectives of their career at that time. And I'm guessing, as we're all saying too, it'll probably end when the band breaks up. But you never know. It's limitless. The options and the variables are limitless. We'll see what they do with this project, and hopefully it's good for Beatles fans. It's real.
Do you know where the Beatles officially legally ended?
Do you know? I don't know.
I do. The final paperwork was signed at the Disney Polynesian Resort at Walt Disney World.
Maybe they'll show that in the movie. That could be kind of interesting, right?
That's my Beatles fun fact I know.
I like that. I will say the hardest part, though, for me is also going to be casting for this. I guess, you know, because, again, we have these perceptions of people, and I understand it. Yeah, Queen. I love Beatles, too. And I get that, like, you know, they are very generic a lot of ways, but I think, though, to have the personas shine through so people believe that's that person, it's going to be tough. And they really should spend some time and get some no-name people, I would say. Do a national search, find those people that can actually encompass and become the Beatle that they are signed on to be, and make something real and raw and true to those people and their personalities. Because you know what, I don't want to see like a Bradley Cooper or a Timothy Chalamet in here, or Harry Styles. I don't want to see
Chalamet.
That. They love Chalamet.
Honestly though, Timothy Chalamet could do George Harrison. He could look like him.
He could. Do I want to see it? I think he's got enough work. He's lined up probably till 2050. So good for the Chalamet-a-ling-a-ding-dong. You know, he's busy, you know? But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But the Beatles biopic is coming. Are you excited about it? Let us know.